Daniel Skinner, why do you think Marvel failed in developing their talent? Is it because there have been so many different projects in the pipeline that they needed to focus more in acquiring talent than growing? Well, I think it's there's a lot that's kind of gone down over the last 5 years that messed things up. So what you mentioned, and there's part of the problem, that instead of picking these characters and doing, 2 Shang-Chi movies over 4 years, over 5 years, and doing Eternals 2 or whatever it would be, instead of picking a handful of new characters and building them out and doing a team up with them, they just kind of like done all of these different projects with all of these different characters all over the place. So you do Shang-Chi, and then we don't even know when we're going to see him again. We don't know. And so Daniel Distin Cretton didn't get to do Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi 2, and then Avengers movie. He did one movie, and now we don't know what he's going to do. Like, I guess he's kind of working on Wonder Man, and supposedly we're getting Shang-Chi 2, but it hasn't been announced yet. So I think that's absolutely part of it, is that there's just too many things going on, so you don't have time for people that had a hit film to do a sequel to it or follow it up in some way, because we're just going in so many different directions. Other part to it is that they're also working on television at the same time. So they're doing so many projects and in multiple formats and trying to figure out a lot of things. So instead of like back in the day, if you're putting out 2 movies per year, Kevin Feige and his close producers can work with 2 different directors. They can work with 2 different writing teams in a writer's room. As soon as you're putting out 3 movies, 5 TV shows, and we're trying to figure out how to do television, it's not just that we're doing more projects, we're doing something new and different. Like for me, as someone that creates videos for a living, it's very easy to create a movie review or a ranking because I've done so many of them. Like I know the process that I go through to do it. But trying to do certain editorial ones or branch out, like I have to figure things out. It's not just a one-to-one different video. When you do something new, you have to discover the problems. You have to discover the template, what does and doesn't work. And so they dramatically multiplied the number of things they were doing, the number of writers, directors they needed to recruit, and moved into a new format. Also threw animation into the mix. Totally different thing. All at the same time. So then instead of our higher up executives, or Kevin Feige's working with 2 directors, 3 directors, 2 writer teams, 3 writer teams. It's all of this stuff and a lot more things needing more attention. Well, if you have to give all of your attention to figuring out how to do television and animation and all these projects, each individual person is getting less time to be developed, to be acclimated into the system, having a nice onboarding process. So it's not just they're doing too many projects. That's part of it. There has not been an opportunity for a Daniel Distin Cretton to have his follow-up to Shang-Chi in a reasonable amount of time to develop him, to prep him to do an Avengers movie. But also, he probably got significantly less time with Kevin Feige because all this other stuff is going on. So it's a lot of things at the same time. And then you kind of throw into the mix, COVID happens. So it's a massive disruption to the creation of their movies. You're in crisis mode. Oh crap, how are we going to release movies now that movie theaters aren't open? Oh crap, how are we going to film movies now that you can't be around other people? So it's a crisis that demands a lot of time from the upper people that otherwise would have been into developing talent, developing the story group. Now it's, how do you even make a movie? What are our protocols for filming a movie during COVID? Chadwick Boseman died. That's a person that they knew. To us, it's gut wrenching that this hero, this movie star that just passed away so suddenly. We saw him so strong, and then he was gone. To them, it was a friend that died, and complicating it, he was the star of this billion-dollar franchise. That's a lot of feelings. They had to process through that while COVID is going on, while they're doing all these other different things. One more layer of complication and everything. And the Jonathan Majors situation. There's so many things kind of going on where all of a sudden you realize down the line, there hasn't been like a new director that they've been able to give the same treatment to that they gave to directors in phases 1, 2, and 3. So it's all of it. It's not like one thing. It's the perfect storm that leads to a scenario where 5 years later, you're like, oh crap, I guess we got to go back to the Russos. Most of these clips are pulled from my Patreon live streams. I do about 6 live streams every single month. For $2 per month, $20 per year, you can get access to all the exclusive videos and live streams. For $5 per month, you get your name on my end card. At the top tier, you get a 30-minute video chat with me each month. The link down below in the description has more information.